All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very big welcome to ICT712 Information Technology Project Management. My name is Fadi Kutub. I'm very excited to be teaching this subject this semester. I've been teaching this subject for a long time. If I tell you a bit about the background about myself, I possess a PhD in knowledge management, a Master's of Project Management, a Bachelor of Commerce specialization in information system, and a diploma in information and advanced diploma in information technology. On top of this, I've actually worked in industry, and I really look forward to sharing my expertise and bringing you knowledge about a subject that is very important out there in the IT environment. So it's very important. You capture a lot of that learning, you bring it through in terms of your assignments, and you take it with you to be able to go and bring that learning all to the industry. Now, if you wish to contact me at any time, this is my email address, fadi.kutub@ky.edu.au. Please remind me which course you are studying. The reason why I say this is because I do not simply only teach one subject, I do teach many subjects. Now, a lot of times you'll be raising with me many inquiries that are confidential. And for this purpose, I will only be responding for any confidential queries when you email me using the KOI email address. So I highly encourage you to activate that email address. I will communicate with you many times using that email address. So it's very important you maybe have it as an email on your phone, so that whenever I send you an email, you'll be able to go and respond and understand what I'm trying to communicate to you on a timely basis. Now, if you ever want to meet face-to-face, it is only by appointment, so you can just email me and we'll be able to go and organize something further. What I want you to know is something very simple about me and someone who's really committed to excellence in teaching. I look at you guys as my children. And because you're my children, I just want to do everything in my power to try to give you an exceptional experience, exceptional learning, something that's gonna go and help you to go and get a good future. Now, how I demonstrate my excellence, I actually work as a facilitator who help you to go and gain a mix of theoretical and non-theoretical knowledge. So theory and practical skills I want you to go and learn. I'm someone who's a motivator who want to go and build your trust in your ability to go and achieve. I am someone who is going to care about you while you are my students in the course, week in, week out. I will be treating you with all honesty. When you do a great thing, I'll say, well done, you've done a great job. When you do the bad thing, I'll say, bad, you should not have done that. So I'm always honest with you. So sometimes I'll be, very positive and great and awesome. And when you do the wrong thing, I will tell you, because if I care about you, I have to tell you once you've done a great things and once you haven't done something that is great. So we're going to go and talk about that. Not simply am I going to care for you when you are studying my course. I am going to support you after you are no longer my students. I support you beyond your needs in my course. So this is how I support you to be able to go and grow your career into the information technology and any other avenue and any other opportunity that might come your way at any particular point of time. There is obviously a subject outline and there is surviving this course. I will be covering these in a tutorial simply because now we only have 1 hour of lecture, so I basically will have to kind of cover more things in the tutorial. So I'll be covering that into more details in the tutorial. A few things important to bear in mind. I am very strict when it comes to plagiarism. You know, if you go and copy someone else's idea, that's okay to do it as part of research, but you need to paraphrase that information and you need to make sure you are presenting the right referencing at any particular point of time. If you do copy, it's a very serious offense. It is plagiarism. It led many times to people getting zeros. It led to big penalties. It even could lead people to being expelled from their education provider. So it's very important that we are working and doing our own research at any particular point of time. How do you avoid plagiarism? Learning Support offers information on how you can avoid plagiarism. Really, a lot of times students do not understand what is the difference between direct wording and indirect wording. What is the difference between summarizing and paraphrasing? You need to understand how to integrate evidence from sources into your writing. You need to understand how do you go and actually make the right referencing convention as part of your referencing. So if you are not sure about any of these topics, you are very highly encouraged to go and visit the library and try to learn more information about what is plagiarism, what is paraphrasing, how do you reference, just a few of those topics to bear in mind. Your assessment must be submitted to Turnitin using Moodle site. Information about the submission will be discussed in due time. Now, we also have a midterm exam. Now, that midterm exam is all about the calculations we are going to be explaining for you. My experience tells me when you don't attend the classes, when you don't come and do the lecture and the tutorial, you are going to find it difficult to be able to do the calculations. Last semester, the average midterm exam was, I think, 12 maximum, like 11 or 12. So not very high because people did not, many people were not actually attending their classes. Those who were attending the classes, the highest mark was 20 over 20. So it's very important to be attending your lectures, not simply tutorials, to be able to learn the right information and apply that information at any particular point of time. So you need to submit your work via Turnitin, including the midterm exam. I noticed that a number of you just joined now, 4 or 6, 4 or 7. I just want to encourage everybody, please be on time. Please minimize the disruptions. I highly encourage you that to attend all the lectures and all the tutorials, because I know that there are so many calculations, the technical part of project management, that I am going to be testing you on to make sure you understand how to apply it. So that's why it's very, very important that you come on time, come every week. Even taking notes is very important, so that it's going to go and help you to go and get the right outcomes you would like to go and achieve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you print a copy of your lecture and tutorial materials. I recommend you take notes of the class explanation. I will tell you for a fact, if you go and take the notes week on week, if you come to my lecture, if you come and do the right thing, I don't think you will fail the subject. Last semester, around 4 people out of, I think, 30 fell. And these were the 4 people who were not actually attending the classes, were not doing the work, were not engaging, or were not basically regularly coming and doing their work. So the semester that was before that, I've had everybody pass the subject. So this subject is very manageable. You can pass it, you can get a good mark, even not simply pass it, but it will require you coming to the class every single week, taking notes and doing what you are expected to go and do. If you do not do that, I did warn you from the beginning. You don't come, you don't do your work, the outcome is not going to be positive at the end. If you come every week and you take notes and you do all of these things, you're going to develop your own notes, which will assist you in completing your assessment. Some of these assessments are quizzes or exams you need to do via Moodle, big internet quiz you need to go and complete. Some are more easy and big assessment working with a group. Some is a final exam. So there's a mix of assessments available out there. Now today I'm going to be talking about 2 chapters. They're both relating to modern project management by Larson's 2019. So that's the textbook we are using this trimester, Larson 2019. Guys, a lot of times if you look at this sketch in front of you, how long have I been doing things that don't actually matter? Unfortunately, a lot of times in an organization, we might be trying to go and work on something, and we might be working on things that do not actually add the value for us. They don't help us to go and deliver the outcome we would like to go and achieve. So that is really a big problem. You cannot waste resources. Project management involves a lot of hard work, a lot of attempt to go and try to get a lot of work to be delivered. And there are certain criteria to be able to ensure we are delivering things that will lead to what we call a successful project. So it's very important we do not engage in any resources wasting at any particular point of time. Now, in front of you are all the chapters for one of the textbooks of the course, which is by Larson. You notice there's all of these chapters. We are going to be covering a large number of these chapters as we are going to be progressing throughout the actual course. For example, today we are going to be talking about the introduction, and then we are going to be talking about the strategy component. What are the learning objectives out of today? Well, we are going to understand why project management is actually important. Like in today's environment, why do we need project management? We're going to distinguish the difference between what a project is and what is a routine operation. We're going to identify the different stages of a project life cycle, like what stage, from starting a project to ending a project. We're going to describe how agile project management is different from traditional project management. Traditional project management, often we talk about something called the project management body of knowledge. And here's what we know about the agile project management. So we're going to talk about first of these components. And as we start going over halfway throughout the project, throughout the actual subject, we are going to be finding more and more about agile project management, Scrum project management, and so on. We'll talk about all of these down the track, and you'll be applying all of this learning as part of your assessment. We're going to understand that managing projects involve balancing the technical side of project management as well as the socio-cultural parts of project management. And I'll talk more and explain what these actually means. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a project is not something that you do every day. A project is what we call a something complex, something that is not routine. We don't do it regularly. Something that is a one-time effort. Sometimes that needs to be delivered. And when I talk about delivered, it needs to be delivered within time, within cost, within specifications, by using the resources, in order for us to be able to meet the needs. So we have a customer, they come and tell me, I want something that is unique. I want this particular thing. And my job is, what am I going to do so that I am going to go and be delivering that particular output or outcome that the client is actually expecting me to go and really deliver. So a project is temporary. It's not like keep on going and regularly doing the same thing over and over again. It is something temporary to create something unique. And when I talk about something unique, that something unique could be a product, could be a service, could be a result, and that is going to be meeting the requirements of the clients. Now, building a bridge is an example of a project. Could any of my beautiful students, including the 3 that just recently joined me, welcome, tell me what is an example of an information technology project? Would any of you give me an example of an information technology project? By the way, I respect your answers. I encourage you to be involved because that makes the class much more fun and that makes sure you actually go and get much more knowledge. So I don't want you to be shy. I am here, your friend, supporting you. I need you to be able to talk to me regularly throughout the classes. So can you tell me, especially by the way, the tutorial is you need to be live with the camera. You need to be interacting with each other. So it's very important that you get ready to turn your camera on, start collaborating face-to-face as part of the tutorials. Now, I'm asking you an example. Give me an example of an information technology project. What do you think?
Google.
What's that, my friend?
Google.
Google. So how is Google an information technology project? Give me an example.
So it's being developed every day. The data is coming every day and it's being further developed.
Okay, let's talk about 2 things. Developing something every day in terms of adding data to Google, is that a project? Is adding data to the Google search engine, is that a project? What do you think? It is something routine, day-to-day, operational. Creating Google search, that is a project. Creating the, what's that machine? You know, the machine you talk to, what is it called? Google, what's that machine they talk, like Amazon artificial intelligence? You ask a question, what is it called?
Google Assistant.
Yeah, Google Assistant. Is creating Google Assistant adds a project. Updating it, adding, you know, updating the software all the time, that's not a project. Creating a new website is a project. Adding content to the website is not a project. Creating a new application is a project. Adding data day-to-day to the actual application is not a project. So there are things that you do that are routine operation, you do all the time. That is not a project. What is a project? Is something that is non-routine. Something you do one time, something that is limited. It has to be done within time, within cost, within specification to reach the outcomes that we are seeking. Major characteristics of a project. We have an objective, we have a lifespan, start and an end. We require across the organizational participation. So if we talk about information technology, you might be having marketing, you might be having salespeople, you might be having HR, you might be having stakeholders, you might be having sponsors, you might be having the IT team, all of these working together to be able to reach the right goals. The goal is about doing something that has never been done before, and the goal is about doing something that is limited by time, cost, and performance requirements. So within time, within cost, within specifications. And anything that is routine and repetitive is not a project. Taking a class note, that's repetitive. That's not a project. Writing an exam paper, that is a project. Entering daily receipts of sales in the actual accounting ledger, that's repetitive, that's routine. Setting up a sales system for a professional accounting meeting, that is a project. Responding to a supply chain request that someone made on the internet, that's not a project. Developing the whole information system for a supply chain, that is a project. Something unique, something complex. It is not something routine. It is not something that is repetitive. Now, a lot of time, there's something called a program. Now, what is a program? Now, let me give you an example. Because have you ever been in a complex, you know, drove outside a complex where you've seen so many houses and all of these houses look like one another? Have you ever been to something like that, or been driving on the street, you've seen so many houses, they look the same? Have you seen that before? Anyone? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Where have you seen it? Tell me.
Around Ingleburn area.
Ingleburn area. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question, Riza.
Yes, sir.
If I build a house, is building a house a project?
Yes, it is.
It is unique, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Now, if I build one house, that is one project. Okay? Now, in that Ingleburn area, they are opening big sections of land. They are all part of one complex.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do, they build that one home, that's one project. But the complex is not finished. For the complex to be finished, they have to build this 1,000 houses that they said they are going to build as part of that complex. So these 1,000 or 500 houses are all part of a program that when all of these houses are finished, the program of that village is completed. That's what we call a program.
Mm-hmm.
A program is presenting all of these related projects. So every house is a project. Now, we might have 50 houses. All of these 50 houses are part of one program. But if you finish your 50 houses, the whole program, being that village, is not completed yet. The only time that program finishes is when I deliver all 500 homes and they're ready to go and they're ready to be able to go and be delivered to the customer. I'll give you this example from an information technology perspective. You might go and create a website. That website or that application is, let's say, Commonwealth Bank banking application. You might go and create that application, and that application is supposed to have many functions. One function might be transferring money. One function might be checking my transactions. One function might be applying for a credit card. One function might be applying for a home loan. One function might be check what your credit rating. There are so many functions. The person who's going and delivering that project might go and deliver the first item, which is check your transactions. That project is ready. They release it, they give it to the client. The client can log in on their phone, they can check their balance. That's great. That project is completed. But that project is part of a program. For the whole application to be finished, we have to do every one of those other projects that we spoke about. We have to make sure we can pay bills. We have to make sure we can apply for a credit card. We have to make sure we can apply for a home loan. We have to make sure we can go and check our credit rating. All of these potentially part of different projects. Once all of these link projects, because they are all linked to the same application, what we're trying to go and deliver, once all of these are done, that's when we talk about a program has been completed. So the program is a group of related projects. They're designed to achieve a common goal over an extended period of time. What we need to do is we need to talk about program management. We need to manage a group of ongoing, a group of interdependent related projects in a coordinated manner to achieve the strategic needs of the business. So we talk, for example, about completing of a required course in a project management. That's great. You know, if we complete project management, that's great. We finish one project. But if we complete every single subject of your degree, that is the whole program, then you get an information technology major that you are trying to go and achieve. So not one project, you need to finish all of these things to be able to reach your goals. So when I talk about a project, we talk about so many stages that need to be followed to get the job done. We talk about, initiation, planning, executing, closing. So all of these are various stages relating to delivering a project. Now, the amount of effort changes. There's always at the beginning, little effort, little effort, little effort, little effort. But then once you start progressing with time, the effort starts increasing. And once you finish the stage, your effort in that specific stage starts decreasing. So you need to know that to be able to get something delivered, to be able to create that unique outcomes, you need to think about all of these stages that you need to go and follow to be able to go and get the job done. In initiation, for example, or definition, you need to understand the goals, specifications we want to deliver, the main tasks we need to achieve, the responsibilities of various people, to name a few. When you talk about planning, you need to plan the schedule, the budget, the resources, the risks, the people that you need, and so on. When you talk about executing, it's about implementing that plan. Things might change. You need to monitor, am I delivering the right quality? You need to forecast what could change. You need to go and generate all of these reports about how we are actually progressing. When you talk about closing, how do you close a project? Well, if I finish something, I need to give it to my client. So closing is about training the client. Closing is about transferring all of these documents to the client, releasing the resources that were working on a project to work on another project, evaluating how we actually delivered the outcomes, learning what have we done right, what have we done wrong, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are many, many drivers for us to actually have project management. It's changing the world. There's all of these compression of the product life cycle. You know, something that used to go and last and stay in the market for 2 years is now lasting for 6 months. So we need to be able to find a way to be able to produce new things very, very quickly to be able to meet the customer's needs. It's all of this knowledge explosion, all of this knowledge available out there. It's about how do we go and benefit from all of this knowledge to be able to achieve the best outcomes for the organization, for the client. The triple bottom line. We need to think about the planet, about people, about profit. And for every one of these, there are so many projects that can go and get implemented to be able to reach the right goals. Corporate downsizing. We have 1,000 people and suddenly we say, okay, from next week, we are going to only have 500 people. Right. So if you're going to have 500 people less, there's still enough work for another 500 people. What are you going to do? We're going to incorporate all of these projects that are going to be making our work much more efficient than we are currently working to get the right outcomes. We are increasingly focusing on the customer. What does the customer really want? And our focus on the customer means we are going to go and identify all of their requirements and needs. We are going to try to find a way for us to be able to go and deliver all of these requirements for them through the use and the implementation of project management. Another driver is small projects represent big problems. In other words, we might go and make one small project that will look like it's delivering a small improvement or a small problem solution within the organization. But in reality, such a small project represents a big problem to the organization. That big problem equal saving a lot of money if we are going to be doing the right thing within the organization. There is a concept called Agile Project Management. Agile Project Management is one that has emerged because the traditional project management perspective, which is really corresponding with the project management body of knowledge with all of these stages that I mentioned earlier, there was frustration. There was frustration because a lot of times the projects were not delivering what they're supposed to be in the most efficient manner. We now basically see so many industries trying to go and use agile way to go and get the job done. And the reason why is because agile is incremental. Agile is iterative. Agile is about continuously find and identify the additional things that the clients really want and adjust your requirements accordingly to meet the needs of the client. Agile is about let me collaborate with the customer all the time. Let me understand what they need. Let me go and keep on adding to the requirements and to the specifications to be able to go and ensure we are really delivering what the business is needing at any particular point of time. If you deliver what the business is needing, you are going to be able to get the business the money and the efficiency that they are seeking. You're going to ask me, does that mean traditional project management does not deliver to us what we want? Not necessarily, but a lot of times traditional project management might take years to deliver a project. And during, let's say, a whole year, the things around you, information technology moves very, very quickly. If you go and say, I am going to not change the requirements, although I know that the needs of my customers have changed, well, you won't go and actually achieve the satisfaction that is required and the benefits from information technology projects. In Agile, you are allowed to make the change. You are allowed to speak to the client regularly. You are allowed to go and incorporate the changes they want as part of the work we're going to do. Agile works best in small teams of 4 to 8 members and help us to go and reach many, many good benefits for our clients. Now, when you want to go and talk about project management, you talk about a number of skills. I am going to teach you about a lot of skills relating to project management. I am going to teach you about the sociocultural skills and the technical skills that you need to be able to reach your right goals. We talk about leadership. You need to be a good leader to be a project manager. You need to have a great ability to go and solve problems. You need to be able to work in a team. You need to be a great negotiator. You need to be able to be a great politician, work with all of these things around you. And there's going to be a lot of politics around you. Like, not everything might work according to what you want at any particular point of time. It's about going in, keep on acting and understanding the politics that is available within the organization, and try to go and get that politics to be able to go and work and deliver things that is really going to be able to be beneficial to you as a client, so as a project manager. So it's about working with the politics, understanding the politics, and trying to go and get the right goals. You need to be able to understand what the customers really want, respect what the customers want, and delivering on all of their requirements. Technically, you need to understand how to go and identify the scope of what you're trying to deliver. You need to understand how do we create a work breakdown structure, which is short of WBS. How do we create schedules? How do we allocate resources? How do you create a baseline budget? How do you create status reports? All of these are some of the things you need to know that are relating to the technical sides of project management. I am going to teach you about both of these aspects. So be very attentive, be very focused, very ready to learn, because if you do, you are going to be able to pass the subject and get a great outcome. My friends, does anybody have any questions at all? Alrighty, so there's no questions. We're going to now move to the next chapter. Well, next chapter is really about organizational strategy in project selection. Any project we are going to be working on in the organization must be a project that is going to be important for our strategy. We do not have a lot of unlimited resources. So we're going to have to use the limited resources to maximize the outcome that the organization is trying to go and actually achieve. So we need to go and get the right goals. Now, this is really chapter 2, as you can see from this slide. We're going to explain why it's important for project managers to understand the strategy of the organization. We're going to identify the significant role projects contribute to the strategic direction of the organization. We're going to understand the need for a project priority system. We're going to distinguish among 3 kinds of projects. We're going to apply financial and non-financial criteria to assess the value of projects. We're going to understand how multi-criteria models can be used to select projects. Now, strategic management, guys, requires every project to be linked to strategy. If I am wasting my resources on working on something that does not link to strategy, I am simply wasting my resources. Strategic management requires us to continually respond to change. The environment around me will change. The technology available will change. I have to be always looking around me. What is changing all around me? And based on all of these change, I need to be taking the appropriate actions. I need to allocate the limited resources that is available within my organization to be able to go and really reach the best possible outcome that align with my strategy goals as an organization. We need to have a strong link between the mission. What do we stand for? What are we trying to achieve? Our goals, our objective, our strategy, and our implementation. When we know our mission, when we know our vision, when we know our strategy, we can kind of funnel that down in terms of projects that we can work on at any point of time to reach the right goals. Now, project management must understand the strategic management process. Why? Because they must respond to change. They must see how things are changing all around them. And they might go and respond to the change at any particular point of time. They must be able to demonstrate to senior management that their project is actually contributing to the mission of the organization. If you cannot demonstrate that you are working on something that is important for our mission, your project should be cancelled because it is not going to be adding any value. When I talk about the strategic management process, we talk about 3 stages. What are we now? What do we intend to be? And how do we actually get there? The strategy is about understanding what we want to be and how do we get there. Now, to be able to know what do we want to be, well, you need to go and look at the environment. Where are we now? What is my current mission? What is happening with the external environment? What is happening with the internal environment? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? What are my threats? And from there, I can go and revise what my mission is going to be. And I need to go and set the strategy and objectives that are aligned to that mission of what I would like to go and achieve. What do we intend to be? Well, we have the strategy, we have the objectives. We have to go and create a portfolio of all of these strategic choices. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. You choose what you want to go and be. How do we get there? How do we get there? Well, we need to implement a strategy. How do we implement the strategy? We need to select our projects. And we need to go and start implementing with all of these projects at any point of time. We talk about analyzing and formulating strategy. What needs to be done to reach our goals? How do we know what needs to be done? Well, I need to evaluate my past and where I am now. I need to assess my internal and external environments, know my SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And by doing so, I'll be able to go and make the choice of the future product or services I would like to go and deliver. I need to implement my strategy through projects. What does that mean? Let me allocate resources to a project, equipment, funds, people, and so on. Let me set formal and informal organization that complements and support my strategy and my projects. Let me create a plan and how I am going to be controlling the plan through a control system. Let me motivate my project contributors to reach success and encourage them to continue working to reach the right goals. I need to design a portfolio system. A portfolio system is about, a large number of projects. I might be working, for example, on software projects, hardware projects, database projects, business improvement projects. I could be working on a big portfolio of projects. So to work on any projects, I have to go and say, all right, let me look at all of those projects that are available out there. Let me classify all of these projects. What type of projects are they? Let me have a criteria for each of these classifications. If it's a strategic project, what criteria am I going to be using to evaluate it? If it's an operational project, what criteria am I going to be using? So you go and classify all of your projects and you have a criteria for choosing any of these projects to go and work on. We need to think about the sources of proposals. Where are all of those sources going to actually come from? Is it going to come from employees? Is it going to come from, from external? Is it going to come from our partners? Any proposal we got about something we need to work on, what do I do with it? I evaluate it. And from there, I'll be able to choose the right projects that I need to be working on within my organization. Once I know what projects I need to be working on within the organization, I need to manage those projects and not simply manage one type of project. One type could be software. I might need to manage the software, the hardware, the database, the improvement, which is basically part of my whole portfolio of projects we need to go and work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so when we talk about projects, there are so many various types of projects. And this is an exercise you are going to be working on in your tutorial next. There are Three types of projects we're going to talk about. Compliance projects, projects that we must do, strategic projects, and operational projects. Strategic, they are meeting the strategic long-term business requirements. Operational, it's about the continuous improvement of how I am operating within the organization. And compliance, it could be, let's say the government wants you to do something because if you don't comply with the requirements, you might not be given a license to be able to go and really operate. So you need to go and have a way to be able to choose all of these various projects. So how do we choose the projects to work on? Well, there are selection criteria, there are financial, and there are non-financial. And I'll show you some examples. Financial could be what we call a payback method, a net present value method, an internal rate of return method, to name a few. A non-financial could be assessing whether the project is of strategic importance to the firm. That's what we go and we do. And then there's what we call a multi-weighted scoring models. Use several weighted selection criteria to evaluate project proposals. And again, that's an activity you are going to be doing very, very shortly. If you talk about the payback method, it looks, for example, about how long is it going to be taking for me to get the money back from my investment. What we do is we go and choose the projects that are going to give me my money back in the shortest possible period of time. It emphasizes the cash flows when the money is going to come in. It doesn't really look at any value of the money at any particular point of time. It basically assumes cash flows for the investment period. Let's say we get the money back after 3 years. It doesn't measure any money that comes after that 3 years. It does not consider how profitable we are. It simply considers how long is it going to take us to get the money back. Look, in this example, I have project 1 and project B. Investment is $700,000. My annual savings is $225,000. So if I divide $700,000 by $225,000, I know I will get my money back in 3.1 years. For project B, my investment is $400,000, and I'll be saving $110,000 every year. So if I divide $400,000 by 110, I will be getting the money back in 3.6 years. So we accept project A and project B. Why? Because they both are going to give me a return back in less than 5 years, and that's really was one of the criteria in this example. And it is exceeding the rate of return of 15% that we would like to go and get the right goals. But you see, this is basically very simply looking how long is it going to take us to get the money back. There are non-financial criteria that we need to consider. For example, we need to do this project because we capture larger market share, because we make it difficult to get competition to come and compete with us, because we're going to develop and enable a product which by introducing it, we're going to get much more sales. We're going to get a core technology that we're going to use in the next technology generation of products. We're going to reduce dependency on suppliers that are not reliable. These are all non-financial criteria. There's also something called the checklist model. Checklist model is like I go and ask various questions to be able to decide whether I am going to go and make a project and choose it or not. For example, I might ask, okay, is my organizational culture right for this project? Will internal resources be available? How long will it take? Is the time realistic? Will staff training be required? What is the estimated cost of the project? How does this project interact with current projects? Is the technology available or new? So you basically go and make a checklist, and based on this checklist, you go and make a decision whether you are going to be able to go and choose to go and implement any particular project. There's a multi-weighted scoring model, which is multiple weighted qualitative and or quantitative selection criteria. And you'll see an example that you are going to be applying yourself in the tutorial today. It allows for comparison of project with other potential projects. I'll show you an example. In this example, we have projects 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to project N. The criteria we are using to decide whether we are going to be making project A 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 are, does it stay within core competencies? Is there a strategic fit? Is it urgent? Is it 25% of sales from the new product we are going to be introducing? Are we going to be reducing defects by 10%? Are we going to be improving customer loyalty? Are we going to be getting a return of investment that is over 18%? To get the answer for these points, we go and say, okay, is project 1 going to help me stay with my core competency? 1, that's me, no, it won't. Project 3, 9, yes, it's going to help me to stay with my core competency. So the more number means the more it will get me to stay within my core competency. Is it urgent? Project 6, 0, it's not urgent. Is it urgent? Project 4, 10, it is very urgent. Is it going to help me improve customer loyalty? Project 1, yeah, somehow. Project 3, nah, not really, it doesn't. Project 6, nah, not really, it's only a 2. So these are all what we call the criteria we are following. Then you say, what is the weight? The weight is how important is each criteria. Criteria stay within core competency. How important? The weight is 2. Strategic fit, how important? 3. Reduce defect, how important? 1. Improve loyalty, how important? 1. So what we need to do, we need to use these numbers here, that is an evaluation of each project in comparison to each criteria. And we need to multiply those numbers we have with the weight we have at any point of time. So I need you to go and calculate the totals now. How do you do it? Well, let me ask you a question. Guys, if my weight is 2, and I give for the stay with core competency, I have a 1, 2 multiply 1 equal how much? 2 multiply 1, what's the total? Don't be scared, come on. Yeah, correct, that's a 2. 3 multiply 8. Okay, great. 2 multiply 2. 2.5 multiply 6. 1 multiply 0. And 1 multiply 6. And 3 multiply 5. All of these numbers will give me a total. I want you to calculate these totals. I want you to add this calculation plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. I want you to add them all to get a total for this, and a total for project 2, and a total for project 3, 4, 5. Get me all the totals here. And I want you to tell me which project should we go and choose. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to be able to make some calculations. So what you do, you multiply the weight by the evaluation here, which is the how much did we evaluate each criteria. We gave it a 1 or 8 or 10 or whatever. So you multiply the weight times the criteria evaluation for each of them, and then you add all project 1 together, all project 2 together. So start working on these totals now. Any questions? Anybody not sure? Okay, great. So get the calculations now, get the totals for me. Anyone who goes and completes a total for any project, please make sure you write me the answers. So I have one answer from Pabari for project 1. Let's get some answers for at least project 1 and project 2, guys. Thank you, Praman. Praman did the project 2. All right. Thank you, Jake. So at least if we can get, if you can get one answer for at least one of those projects, it doesn't matter which one. And then you'll be able to see whether you've done your answers correctly or you've done them wrong. And you're going to have also an example in the tutorial to go and apply today. You're doing very, very good, guys. Let's continue getting some answers now. I have 3 answers so far. For Badi, Preman, and Jake, maybe we're going to get more people presenting answers now. Anyone else want to provide answers? All right, great. We have one more. All right, it's Jake again. Jake again. Anyone else? Any other different students? All right, guys, so the answers are these. So you can see first one is 66. We can see that project 2 is 27. So Preman, just go and make the checks. There's a number there to rectify. Jake, project 5 is actually 102. So how? Well, 2 multiply 1, 3 multiply 10, 2 multiply 5, 2.5 multiply 10. So you need to get all of these totals. And that would equal to 102. Project 356, that's correct. Project N is 83, that is correct. So we need to basically learn to do those calculations, and you will be having a chance now to be able to go and make some calculations in your tutorials today. So this is the sort of things you need to bear in mind. There's a lot of calculations that is going to be involved that we need to go and bear in mind. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions before we finish the first lecture for today and move to the tutorial? Any questions at all? Alrighty, guys, no problem. Thank you very much. So I'm going to now say thank you very much for all your time. I just want you to know that there are the lecture slides you need to review and the tutorial materials we are going to be talking about next. I want you to get familiar with the Moodle site, and I want you to read and understand the requirements of your assessments. And I want you to read chapters 1 and 2. I want to thank you very, very kindly for your time and effort. I really care about you, and I want to make sure you get the best possible outcome. What I want to say is we're going to now log out from this Moodle link, and you'll need to go and log into the tutorial link, which is again loaded on Moodle. So please log out from this Moodle link and log into the next Moodle link. Thank you very much for all your efforts. I'll see you back again in the next class. Thank you very much.